Hip Hop Live. We got new music from J. Cole. The album's coming next week. The album is called, what is The Fall Off? Oh, I'm sorry, The Off Season. It was supposed to be called The Fall Off. That's what the fans were saying. And we're welcoming everybody into the room. Coop, how you doing, man? Cheers to another week. We done made it to another Friday. Toast. Yes, sir. Welcome everybody into the room. All right. While people are getting into the room, what was your first impression of J. Cole's Interlude that he released last night at midnight? This morning.
My first impression is that I was impressed. I thought the track was I thought it was really dope, actually. It harkened back to, I mean, it comes from one of my favorite albums. It's one of the best intros. It's when Guru's talking at the beginning of the moment of truth. He was like, we have certain formulas and we update our formulas with the times. Yeah. And so it sounds like his updated formula. And it came off very, very well, and I was super impressed by it. It actually made me think. It's like, okay, like I literally said a couple days ago, like he needs to make the album of his career, and if that's an interlude, then like the album of his career, it looks like it's probably on the way.
You know, some people in this camp are saying that this is some of the best material that they've heard from him, period. You know, I know people in your camp are going to say certain things anyway when you're releasing, but I think it says a lot that he felt comfortable enough to release a song beforehand. It's like he wants you to hear what's going on here. And I'm like you, man. I heard it. I was impressed. I was like, yo, I want to hear more. And it made me feel very confident about where this next effort is going. I know in our midweek show, you said that this is going to be better than, or you expect this to be better than 2014 Forest Hill Drive. And from what I'm hearing right now, that's not impossible. Let's put it that way.
No, that's what I mean. And I told you, he's never been confident like this before. And for somebody that's as seasoned as him and as revered as him and talked about as much as he is, even in his absence, the fact that he's speaking and moving in this manner is kind of speaking to the fact that he has been probably making the best music of his career. It's
and you
like
know what?
You hear rumblings about stuff like this. It was like the rumblings before the Blueprint stuff where people were like, no. Like, y'all don't understand. Jay making some of the best shit of his life right now. He's like knocking it out the park. It's been like 2 days. He done like killed like most of the album already.
No, that's real. And he didn't speak on any of that back then. It was other people.
Hey, Mike, just 1 second. Just a technical thing. Shift your camera up a little bit because you're getting cut off when you're leaning in a little bit. Like,
let me see. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm actually looking for something real quick. Shift my camera up.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you're cut off right now.
You know, you know what? You're looking at me through. Eyes. You're looking at me through a whole nother camera. I think you see me from my computer's camera. And
okay. I was just making sure because, like, okay. As long as the people can see.
You know what? I start messing with everything and start and forgetting that we're live. Okay. Anyway, back to live television. Anyway, but I agree. I mean, it's one of those things where he's super confident in what's going on, and I think this is going to be a really good effort. And I think the elephant in the room too is the fact that 2020 was such a year where it's a year that writers could put together some of their best material. So much happened in the world. So much is happening in the world. And a writer like himself, to be able to sit there and watch 2020, be a part of the rallies, be a part of the protests and things of that nature, yo, he should have some of the best material to write about in his career, right?
I mean, this is an interlude.
Yeah. And he's going there on the interlude. Yo, shout out to North Carolina. We got North Carolina in the building. Mike Howell says North Carolina in the house. Can't wait to hear the CD. We got Christopher Moore said hip-hop ended around 2000. Stephen Graves says he's straight stealing other people's style on the track. Whose style is he stealing on the track? I want to hear about this. Marlena Norwood said Michigan in here. And Jay says, yo, what up, Jay? Ain't seen you in a minute. Joanne Watt said we got VA Beach in the building. And yeah, you know, the only person whose style I've heard that he's stolen It's
Who's
Odyssey.
style he's stealing? Yeah. If I say I hope you're getting back to that. Yeah, I want to get to that. Whose
Yeah,
style he
yeah.
stole?
Yeah, whose style is Cole stealing? Let us know. But it's funny though, he said that. I was listening to Odyssey's one of Odyssey's albums the other day. J. Cole allegedly stole Odyssey's style, but Odyssey's a dope MC. Shout out to DC up there too. But I think what you were saying was on point in the midweek show. Kind of go back to some of the stuff that you were saying on that show, as far as like what you expect from Cole, you know, the stakes being where they are at this point in his career, and just him having everything, you know, at his hands to be able to work with.
Well, I told you I hope that he worked with other producers on this project.
Mm-hmm.
And although this sounds like his track, it sounds like one of his better produced tracks. Like for me, as somebody that's a fan of his, as in I listen to his shit, but I'm not like a big follower of his stuff. Like I wouldn't even though I'm from Charlotte, Mike, I still don't consider myself to be part of his core fan base. Because I don't play his shit even the way that I play Kendrick shit, and I don't play Kendrick shit a lot. Some of that might be my age, but I can understand why people from a certain generation really like him and his style and the melodies and the mood that he evokes. But it's just sometimes it's just like it's hard to ride to like his shit from beginning to end. And that's what I was trying to say is that he's made too many projects that were just like all right. Like there have been too many 3.5s for somebody of his talent. And so I think also too, because there are so many 3.5s, that something like Forest Hills really sticks out when he hits his mark. And so it might be a little overstated. I really want him to make like an undisputed classic that he's like capable of making.
Do you think that production is that answer? And I was going to ask you also, what were your thoughts on KOD as an album?
KOD just got old fast. I don't know how else to express it other than that. I don't think it's a bad. I don't think it's a bad. It was like something when I first heard it, I probably would have given it a 4 out of 5. But after listening to it over a course of time, I probably give it a 3.5. And I feel that way about most of his projects, except for the Villmatic mixtape and Forest Hills Drive.
Do you? I mean, with all those things being said, do you think in his generation he is number 2 to Kendrick, or do you think there's somebody ahead of that?
I mean, are we including Pusha T in that? Because I mean, you know, I'm going to say that.
Okay, let's just say this: people who are active in this era, like I can't rule out a Pusha T because he's the most active that he's ever been. You know what I mean? In this era, so yeah, I'm counting him. I'm counting, you know, Conway and people of that ilk. We'll count Killer Mike and folks like that. Like, if we're talking about from 2010 to, let's say, 2020, 2021, is he in that top 3 to you?
Oh, I mean, if we're talking from 10 to 20, if we're talking top 3, no, because I think you just named who I would probably pick in the top 3. That would be Kendrick, Pusha T, and Conway at this point. But he would probably be the 4th guy, though, Mike, because I would probably put him slightly ahead of Killer Mike about Forest Hills Drive.
Why do you think that the narrative has been, you know, Kendrick Cole? Like, why do you think it's that?
Well, that's why I was talking on the little midday spill on Wednesday. Was that, like, you know, I want him to make an album that like validates that talk, because when you go put Cole's catalog up next to Kendrick's catalog, it's not a fair conversation.
Right.
It's not like.
How did we get there though?
How about this? Kendrick's worst effort has been a 4. I mean, am I right? Am I wrong? Like the lowest that you could even and in some people's eyes, he hadn't even made a 4. Like for most people, like he's made something that would be closer to like a 4.25 to a 4.5 to like a 5-star album on every project from Section 80 up until now. Correct?
No, I agree 100%. And I think again, we were talking about this the other day. I think that puts more pressure on Kendrick for his next effort. Whereas on this effort for Cole, he can be shooting for the stars. And I also feel like Is it fair to say that there is
Okay,
a?
so hold on. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. It's almost like the pressure different,
Yeah.
right? So why is the comparison so close? If the pressure is different, I told you, it's like I said on Wednesday. It means there's some sort of separation
I don't
when you
think
start
that
looking at
they're,
it.
to me, I don't think that they're even comparable. It's one of those things like, when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning used to be paired up like this was a rivalry, and you look at the record, and Tom Brady was smashing Peyton in all of their matchups. It's like
No,
this ain't even a rivalry. No, it's the
hold on.
truth. Come on.
Hold on, Mike.
I
I
know
mean, you
you're a
know how I
Peyton guy.
feel about. Hold on, Mike. You know how I feel about Tom Brady too. He's like the only white guy that like I've ever really looked up to, other than James Bond. Like, yeah, Brady. Like Brady is the shit. But it was a fair comparison because although Brady is the better clutch quarterback, over time he's proven himself to not just be clutch, but like all-time great clutch. Like he's in a different situation, a clutch that we didn't even realize that we didn't see early on. So
I
in that
knew.
time with Peyton, it was a fair comparison because Peyton was a better regular season player and Tom was a better postseason player, and that's what made that comparison fair. And people forget when Peyton retired, it was 4-2.
Yeah. It was. It was 4-2, but I'm talking about their playoff matchup record. It was very,
Oh,
very good. And
I
yeah,
mean,
it's. And you know what I'm saying?
okay.
Like, people need a matchup, is what I'm
Mike,
saying.
even with that, not a lot of Hall of Fame players on that Patriots defense. But when you look around, Brewski, Vrabel, Richard Seymour,
Yeah.
Rodney Harrison, Ty Law. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it wasn't just Brady. Brady made the plays. He's always, from day one since he stepped on the field, he's made the plays. But that defense was pretty hellacious. Like, Ty Law personally victimized Peyton Manning in 2 playoff games, Mike. Like, personally victimized Peyton.
Yeah. And I mean, and since those guys have been retired and being commentators, Brady's gotten 4 more. So I mean, it is what it is, man.
3 more.
And
He got 7, 8, 3 more.
no, he got 4. He got 7. He got 7.
Yeah, he's gotten 3 more since they sat down.
No, they three-peated, and they were gone after the three-peat.
It was 3 out of 4.
Hold on. Because Brady didn't win again until
the
Seattle.
Malcolm Butler Super Bowl. Right.
Yeah, they were gone. Those people you're talking about, they have been long gone. They were gone.
But okay, so Mike, that's still 3-2 though. Get back to the rap shit.
Okay. All right. Angelique says their walks of life are different. How different are the walks of life of Kendrick and Cole?
Really?
I think they're very similar. To me personally, I mean, I think they're similar just from different regions. I think that Kendrick is around certain things, but I think Kendrick's a poet, just like Cole is.
Right. I mean, because you know where Cole is from. You know, we call it Vietnam, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it
but I think
Vietnam.
people look at. I think Cole's image is like the college kid, like him and Drake.
Really?
Yeah. Him and Drake did a lot of promo coming up together. Like they were kind of paired together a lot. I remember that line from Game on Red Nation where he was like, "Niggas will sell their soul to be Drake or J. Cole." Like they were like the industry darlings being paired up together.
Okay,
and
so
the
here's
next
what I
to
mean.
blow.
I thought he was kind of more in the vein of a Kanye, of just like
oh yeah,
a dude that like loved to rap, that was really good at it, and you know what I'm saying. That's how it always struck me.
I agree with that. But I think the way they approach music. I think him and Kendrick are both poets. I think Kendrick, again, I think he takes on more of a theatrical stance, and I think that's more of the Dr. Dre involvement, to be perfectly honest.
He's more stylistic than Cole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's I guess Cole is your modern day. What Common say? Coffee shop chicks and white dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would sum up Cole, and Kendrick is more like, you know what I mean, more like midnight slam, like deaf poetry, like with, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? We don't want to speculate too much on the album that's going to come out next week because we're going to have a whole week a whole nother show to talk about it.
I'm fascinated by the track list, and I just want to see the production. How about this? I would like to see 15 tracks. I would like to see like 5 beats from somewhere else.
Do you think there's going to be another producer on it? Because I don't.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it hurts him because like
it does.
When you listen to Forest Hills Drive, it's a brilliant album, but you find yourself saying it sounds like the same dude's making the beats. It's because the same dude is making the beats, and it's him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's a great feat. It's impressive, Mike. Like it's impressive the fact that you can literally put a whole entire project together yourself. It's just so hard to knock it out the fucking park.
Odyssey does it, and he does a better job of it, actually, to be perfectly honest. But that's a whole nother subject. He does. Listen. I'm gonna send you this album.
No, I've heard. Which one? Hold on. Is it new? You got something new?
No. It's from a few years back. But I mean, he's consistent with his stuff, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when you hear, I'll put it this way. He's probably not probably, he's a better producer than Cole is. Cole might have him on the bars, and that's not too far off, but he's a much better producer than Cole because it's one of those things where you listen.
Better?
Yeah, when you listen to The Good Fight and albums like that, it's like you don't even think that he's producing this stuff. Like, it's like you said, when you listen to Cole, it's like you know that, okay, he produced this one. He produced this one, you know. And, you know, again, it's just one of those things, man. Like, you know, when you do that, you're only one person, right? Like, so if you do something, you don't really recognize all your tendencies like other people are recognizing them. You're actually just doing the work. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, he probably doesn't even realize that he's producing records that we all recognize are him. It's kind of like when Eminem used to produce records, right? Like,
no, I mean, we've been saying that shit for a minute. I'm pretty certain. No, he recognized. He know we talking.
Yeah.
They know we talking. Like just like what you say about the whole Big Boy thing. Now, people be hearing us talk.
I guess so. And shout out to Big Boy. Big Boy is getting his flowers, and even LL Cool J posted something about it. Speaking of
that, but hey, that's what LL said. He started Rock the Bells for was to give legends their flowers and their just due. We got to put them up on their proper pedestal.
You know what? Let's talk about Big Boy real quick since we're on that, and we're gonna get to Game's top 10.
Real quick. I want to let you know that every time you say something dealing with Andre, Big Boy, or Outkast, and you say real quick, everybody that watches this knows you're lying.
I'm just saying, man. Like anybody who really. The part that boggles my mind is I don't see how anybody could appreciate and listen to Outkast's catalog without feeling Big Boy's contribution. Like, what album did you start listening to them on if you're not understanding how dope Big Boy is? Because to me, rap-wise, I think he did better than Dre on Stankonia because he rapped more. And Big Boy was in prime, you know, Big Boy form on Stankonia. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Are we gonna break it all the way down? If we're gonna break it all the way down, let's say on the first album, I would say Dre is slightly better. Not much better.
Yeah.
But slightly better.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was that on the second album, Dre took a leap in terms of ability and lyricism that, quite frankly, nobody from the South had ever done before. Nobody had leapt like that from a first album to a second album to the point where you were hearing verses from him that made you think, no, he's the best. Nobody from the South had ever did that. And what happened in that moment is that moment happened and that thought stayed. And what got understated was that, no, Big Boy got better on ATLians too.
I was going to say, Big Boy's leap was pretty gargantuous.
No, his leap is impressive. How about this? We're talking about like a great leap versus an all-time great leap. It's like one dude jumps 41 inches and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And then the dude comes after him and jumps 46 inches. And you're like, well, we got to take that guy. And it was like that. But that's what happened is that stayed. And I think people forgot that like on the third album, I don't think he's as great as Dre, but almost, and that's saying a lot.
Listen, and
That's why, like
You know
Aquemini,
how I
Mike.
feel
The
about
reason,
Aquemini.
hold on, Mike. The reason that Aquemini is all time great, like all time great, isn't because the production got greater. It isn't because Andre got greater. It's because Big Boy got all time great on Aquemini, like all time great the way Andre did on ATLians. That's why Aquemini is like that, because it's like, okay, now you have all time production, and both of the MCs in the group are performing at an all time clip. Both, Mike.
But you know what? I'll go back to my thoughts on Big Boy and ATLians in a second. But I gotta give Andre his flowers on Aquemini. I'd be hard pressed to say that there's anybody that has performed. That's one of the all-time great performances on a rap album, period. And there's a handful of them out there. You got
not, huh? Are you talking about the song?
No, I'm talking about the album. The way Andre approached that album, I mean, the versatility. The flow was different on every single track. I mean, to me, I think that's Andre at his very, very best.
He's more poetic on ATLians, actually, though, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
But,
if you're talking about
on ATLians,
if you're talking about the song Aquemini, then yeah. But if you're talking about Dre's his most poetic self on ATLians. Maybe not the best overall in C in terms of the composition of things he brought to the table on Aquemini, but you felt Dre more on ATLians than you did on Aquemini.
Dre's approach on ATLians was a no nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I'm spitting type of approach, and he approached the track
no, man, like Dre was saying some really
no. He was honestly at the end of the day, Dre's lyrical anyway, so he's gonna be saying a lot. His pen's working, but I'm talking about his delivery and how he approached the tracks. Like ATLians, he kind of hit everything like boom, 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 but Aquemini, it was like he was so super comfortable in his style, and he could do so many things with it. He could do what he did on Return of the Gangster. He could do what he did on Synthesizer. He could do what he did on Rosa Parks. He could do what he did on Art of Storytelling. He was starting to sing for the first time, really. He could do what he did on Chunky 5. I think that if you even pinpoint, I think this record aged so well. Y'all scared off of Aquemini. Because he was kind of taking the no-nonsense ATLian approach, but he was relaxed. He was having fun with the Aquemini. You know what I'm saying? ATLians was very, very serious, and it's dope. Love the album, and love his contribution to it. But when I heard him on Aquemini, I was like, yo, I don't think there's anybody else who could have done this. And I think that overshadows how great Big Boy actually has been. And again,
see, that's what I mean. Like when you say that, it's like on a lot of those records. No, Big Boy's all time great on those records too.
He is. He's all time great on y'all skit.
Like Mike, Rosa Parks, Skew It on the Bar, Aquemini, The Art of Storytelling Part 1. The Art of Storytelling Part 2. No, like Big Boy's awesome on those records too. Mamacita, like on some of these records, Mike, he's better than Dre.
I agree. I think he's closer to Dre on ATLians.
And furthermore, he's on records on Aquemini that Dre isn't, that helped create the whole feeling of the album, in particular Slump and West Savannah, which as far as rating tracks goes, those are both 5s, Mike.
Yeah.
On an all-time great album, but both of those tracks are flawless. Dre's not even on them. Big Boy is.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's like for as all-time great as Dre is on Aquemini, I understand what makes Aquemini is the fact that Big Boy is all-time great too.
Listen, and I don't want to name any other groups. We all know groups where certain members get on.
Lying to the people. I said this was not quick at all. You be lying to
No, it wasn't. But I'm gonna say this. There's a whole bunch of groups out there, and we know certain members in certain groups that when their verses come on, we fast forward to stop the track. That's never the case on the Outkast record. And if Big Boy wasn't up to the level of this man that's in everybody's top 10 pretty much, we would be skipping through things. And that's the bottom line. I mean, it's not a lot of guys out there, period, even some of the greats that could go tit for tat with Dre, or a rapper with the skill level of Dre, their whole career.
No, I'm glad he's getting this too. He deserves it. Like it's more than deserved. I mean, Mike, you and I talk so much about it. It's like when we go back and listen to the catalog, it's like, damn, a lot of these big records, a lot of our favorite records, it sounds like Big Boy came up with the record and Dre came in, not the other way around.
Exactly.
That's how it sounds. Exactly. I mean, Mike, that's what Elevator sounds like. It's like those are all-time great verses from Dre, but it sounds like that was Big Boy's inspiration, not Dre's.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Elevators is a beautiful record.
Cousin too. Like Mike, that's their breakout record. That's Big Boy. You can't. Yeah. Dre wrote Elevator. I mean, Mike, when I hear Elevators, it's like that sounds like if it was a camp record, that sounds like something Gipp and Big Boy wrote.
It's funny you say that because I think Dre was saying that Gipp and him were the ones that were going to radio pushing, Elevators real heavy and stuff,
I can totally feel Gipp on that hook possibly too. It's got a draw on it that has his draw on it.
Shout out to Gipp, man. He's a legend. He just celebrated a birthday as well. Yo, real quick too. You know who else is underrated? MJG, man. And we don't talk about MJG enough. And, I was going down the rabbit hole of just Memphis hip hop and, where certain samples came from and certain lines that were used for hooks. Man, MJG's all over that, man. MJG and his flow, you can hear that in so many Memphis MCs.
Really?
Yeah.
More than 8 Ball?
Yeah. When you listen to Gangsta Boo, Playa Fly.
Why do you think that is? I'm just asking questions. Why do you think that is?
I think, I always thought that MJG was the one with the flow. And I always thought the 8 Ball was the one with the pen and, the aura and the swag and all that. Like, I don't know if MJG has like a Mr. Big in him, storytelling and stuff like that. But when it comes to just going with the flow, I got a bit cooking grits with a outfit so tight my niggas want to stay the whole night, dice game in the kitchen, the tea. You know what I mean? Like, MJG was always the flow for me.
Big fan of both. I just thought that they always just sounded so great together. Quite frankly, I thought they were a perfect complement for one another. I told you, Mike, I was a bigger 8 Ball and MJG fan than UGK fan originally, actually.
I was actually more of a UGK fan than 8 Ball and MJG, and I think that's mostly because of Pimp C. I was more of an MJG fan than 8 Ball, and I was more of a Pimp C fan than Bun B.
You know what? I like Bun more than Pimp originally, but I love 8 Ball and MJG equally. That's, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of which, man, we want to go into this whole top 10 that the game put together, man. Let me put the joint on the screen real quick. The game's top 10. He said my top 10 best rappers alive list in order, not including myself. Number 1, Jay-Z. Number 2, Nas. Number 3, Lil Wayne. Number 4, Eminem. Number 5, Kendrick Lamar. Number 6, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Number 7, you got Drake. Number 8, Andre 3000. Number 9, J. Cole. Number 10, Lil Baby. What are some surprises here?
I mean, definitely Lil Baby making the list is a surprise because he said alive.
Why do you think everybody's so high on Lil Baby? And
what you mean when you say everybody? You talking about me, Mike?
I mean, I'm talking about the game. Like, Lil Baby's everywhere.
I mean, that's a little high even for me, Mike. And I'm pretty high on him. I told you, I told you he's like my favorite rapper under 30. It's from down here.
You think he could rap better than DaBaby?
Yes.
Like if they were like in the booth, straight up, bar for bar, you think he could rap better than DaBaby?
Yeah, I find him to be a more compelling MC bar for bar, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say he's your favorite MC under 30.
And DaBaby's, and Mike, DaBaby's from the west side of Charlotte, Mike.
Yeah, I know. That's why
I'm from
the
west side of Charlotte. My family from the west side of Charlotte. And I'm saying that. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too soon for a top 10 consideration in your opinion?
Too soon. but too soon. All these dudes is too soon. I mean, what album is Lil Baby on, and like how many classics has he made? Because it's like, as much as I told you I like My Turn, I don't think it's a classic. I told you, Mike, there were only 3 classics last year. I heard 3 classic albums last year.
Only, I mean, that's pretty great for a year, I think.
No,
but yeah.
No, it's great. No, it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Mike, I listened to Alfredo today. You know, that was a personal favorite.
I was listening to Pray for Paris today. I mean, listen, do you think that people like, because he had a lot of his peers in there, right?
Right.
Do you think, and I know you're a Pusha T fan, is it justifiable to put J. Cole and Drake over Pusha T and Lil Wayne over Pusha T?
In what world?
I don't, I'm just trying to justify.
In a world where it's a popularity contest, yes. But in any other world, no. It's like I told you, Pusha T gets Cool G rapped a lot.
It's, I think, if we're talking about Game and his list, let me put the list back on the screen. Two blaring things. Two blaring things for me. Pusha T and Rick Ross not getting consideration, for the work that they've done. Because I personally think, and I'm not even saying that, Rick Ross and Push are on my top 10 or whatever, but I think that Rick Ross and Pusha T have to be considered over Lil Baby, J. Cole, Drake, Eminem, Snoop. Snoop is a wild card. I'm not gonna say Snoop. Maybe Lil Wayne. I just think that those two should be over that. I think Snoop is such a special case, man. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about catalog, longevity, just straight up skill, it's hard for me to.
Anytime Snoop makes somebody's list, I'm like, yeah, he wrote The Chronic in Doggy Style.
Yeah, so I understand that. And we saw what he did with in the verses.
Your favorite rapper do that? Like, my favorite rapper ain't did no shit like that.
Listen, man, we saw what he did in the verses, and rest in peace to DMX. But DMX went out there and played some very great records.
They weren't very great, Mike. He played some classic records and he lost.
Yeah.
He was losing with classic records, Mike. Like.
And I said it that night. I was like, I don't think, and people hold Jay-Z high to the point where, when you're talking about catalog and body of work, I don't think Jay-Z could have beaten Snoop that night.
No, Mike, you know what we heard that night, Mike? I told you, it was like, I take back everything I said about anybody being afraid of anybody in the verses other than Snoop. That ain't what you want. You can't beat that.
No.
Because it's some of everything. Because it's some gangsta shit. It's some gangsta party. It's some outright hits. It's some classics. It's some bangers. The beats are stupid. Everybody and their mama literally knows the word.
Yeah.
Mike, have I ever told you how I got introduced to The Chronic?
No, go ahead. Story time.
My mom's friend Tara bought The Chronic. It ain't like I got put onto The Chronic by one of the homies. My mom friend bought The Chronic when we was staying up on Memorial Drive. She was bumping that shit. Everybody in the house was like, what's that? That's Dr. Dre's new album. We like, Dr. Dre done went solo? Everybody in the house was like, Dr. Dre done went solo? This is in Atlanta, Georgia on Memorial Drive. This shit happened.
I don't think that there's any... I don't think there's any more of a timeless duo than Snoop and Dre. And when you look back in their music and their catalog, that stuff sounds like it came out yesterday, man. It's remarkable. Like, these records are 30 years old.
Mike, I was 10. People don't even understand how big NWA was. Oh, I was 10 years old, going on 11, I think, when The Chronic came out. And I was like, oh, Dr. Dre went solo. Even I knew, Mike. I wasn't even listening to rap that much by then. That's what I'm saying. The Chronic was even one of my introductions. Like, I had never heard I definitely had not heard a full length album like of that nature before. Like, I had heard some songs off of Straight Outta Compton. I had heard some Public Enemy stuff. I had heard Slick Rick's whole album from beginning to end. But everything else I heard, my cousins, they were really like knowledgeable dudes and knowledge seekers for the most part. So like only the best of the gangster shit made it in the house. So it was like a lot of Rakim, KRS-One,
Yeah.
Public Enemy. There wasn't even any Cool G rap.
Snoop is a one of one, so he should be in people's top 10. If he's not, I understand. If he is, I understand that too. So I'm gonna leave Snoop alone. Now, for people in the chat, man, like how many people got, let's just say Lil Wayne and Eminem in your top 10 still? Because I know Lil Wayne is a real top 10, he's always mentioned in as far as the top 5 and 10, but you don't have Lil Wayne in yours, do you? I don't.
No.
I don't.
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel the way about his projects the way everybody else feels. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess there's something to be said for showing up to work and working the way that he does, and it's noteworthy and it's notable. But I mean, when has work ethic ever been like a qualifier for the greatest of anything? Because if that's the case, like Mike, if work ethic is a qualifier, Randy Moss isn't the second greatest receiver of all time, and most people consider Randy Moss to be the second greatest receiver of all time. But if we're talking about work ethic, Randy ain't even making like the top 250 hardest working wide receivers ever. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I think sometimes his work ethic, although it's admirable, I think it gets placed into this conversation, and I don't place it in the conversation, so he don't get placed in my space necessarily.
You ready for my thoughts on Lil Wayne?
Huh?
You ready for my thoughts on Lil Wayne?
Hold on. He has one classic album to me. It's the Carter 2. I don't think the Carter 3 is a classic.
Generous.
I don't think the Carter 1 is a classic, although I think both of those albums are great. They're both great. They're not classics. The Carter 2 is a classic. Oh, that's some dope shit right there. You can.
It's my favorite album from him, but I still wouldn't say it's a classic or anything.
What you said? What now?
It's my favorite album from him, but I still wouldn't say it's a classic.
What, the Carter 2?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh no, you tripping, Mike? Just like, yeah. No, I think you tripping a little bit. No.
Well, what is the standard of a classic? We can get back to that in a second. But this is my thing with Wayne.
It's a modern day classic. I don't consider it to be an all time great classic, but it's a.
Is it a classic in the sense where it's a game changer? Because I don't feel like it was even that.
No, it's definitely not one of those game changing classics. That's what I mean when I say more modern day classic, where it's like if you look at it in the span of time that it got made, 5-year gap. Oh, it's gonna be. There ain't too many albums that's gonna be better than it.
It didn't really age too well, man. William Brittman.
Oh, like you don't like Mo Fire, best rapper alive.
They're cool.
Oh no, I thought Oh No might have been the best rhyme I heard that year.
I don't wake up wanting to listen to that. I'm sorry, I don't. William Brittman.
Lock and Load, Shooter.
That stuff is on the Carter 3, right?
Money on My Mind? No.
No, Money on My Mind is definitely Carter 2. I thought Shooter was on 3.
Shooter's on Carter 2.
Okay,
Shooter's on Carter 2.
William Britton says William Britton says Wayne has no classic albums. He has good albums, but not a classic. I would have to agree. I think that the Carter 1, 2, and 3 are good. The order I would put them in is 2, 3, 1.
If you're not going to call them classic, at least say they're great. I mean, I'm not. I'm more of a Ross and a Pusha T fan than a Wayne fan, and I'm saying this. It's like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing?
When I think classics, and we're talking modern day classic, right? And when you say it like that, right, it kind of sounds like it's lowering the bar a little bit. But I would say like trap music, right? From T.I. I give T.I. that trap music. Quan Newark says Carter 2 is a classic. Okay. Well, here's my thoughts on Wayne, right?
Please, you got me shaking the microphone. Y'all pissing me off. Y'all tripping. Y'all talking
here's my thoughts on Wayne.
I'm not even that much of a Wayne fan. And like
when we're talking about a list and all time and being top whatever, I think that this questionable pen is really, really in question, right? Like we've seen Wayne grow from Hot Boy Wayne to solo Hot Boy Wayne and kind of just changing everything over. And there's been whispers about Gilly writing this stuff, whispers about others writing this stuff, and the way his style and lingo and all this stuff drastically changes, it seems a little true to me. Not to mention the fact that he hit a point in his career where he was very bar heavy and, what I'm saying, very lyrical, to the point where you're not lyrical at all. And then you got so many misses with the Weezy F Baby, F's for phenomenal, and I think bars like G's moving silence like lasagna that people think is so dope. I think it's not. I mean, I think it's a broken bar. It doesn't work. Lasagna doesn't move. If lasagna moved, it will work. If lasagna moved, it will work. We talk about, like, let's just say a bar like Jay on Dirt Off Your Shoulders, when he was like a running back, straight with the rock. I could run it back because I'm straight with the rock. That works in all ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
if you're talking about the dope, or if you're talking about, huh?
So no. So stop for a second. I'm not going to disagree with you, but let's give it some proper placement. So everything that you're saying is correct. So that's the separation between some of the things that you're speaking to. That's why he's not like in my all-time great list. Right. But that doesn't mean that you have to be all-time great to make great material.
I don't think he's made all-time great material. I don't think he's made all-time great material either. I don't think he's made a Daytona.
I didn't say all-time great material. I said great material.
Okay.
And he's made great material. You don't think the Carter 1, 2, or 3 is great at all? Like, there's a lot of great stuff on those 3 projects, in particular Carter 2. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Carter 1. Mike, I'm not big on Carter 1 or 3 like that either. But there's some shit on there, Mike. There's some shit on there. All right? And there's some shit on there that, quite frankly, not a lot of rappers can do. Do I think that there are some rappers that can do it? Yeah. Do I have guys ahead of him? Yeah. Do I think that the general populace has him overrated? Yeah. But that don't mean he ain't made great shit.
But
who you
talking about?
No, you're going a little too far. You're going a little too far. That's
all. No. If we're talking about the material, right? The 2 guys that we're talking about here, Rick Ross and Game, in particular, they've made much better music than the music you're talking about.
I have them ranked higher.
Yes, I mean, really, the Game has made much better music than the Carter 2.
Mike, I told you, in terms of his actual era, when you would say that he hit his peak, I would probably have him like 5th in his era. I would put him behind Ross, Tip, Game, and Push.
And you know why? Speaking of Tip,
because all of them have made better material to me.
Yeah, and speaking of Tip, and Pusha T has been coming at Wayne for a decade. Right. If Wayne is so super lyrical and this and that, why are you running for Pusha T all the time? And we've at least seen T.I. in the battle situation. We've seen that.
I mean, T.I. ain't been. I told you, Mike, Pusha T a different dude. That ain't.
No. I feel you, but you know what I will say about T.I.? I don't think he would have backed down.
Dude. No. He may not have backed down, yeah. Mike. I'm making the Cool G Rap comparison for a reason too. As in, like Cool G Rap was also the guy from his era that even the top guys was like, yeah, but that guy can fade whoever you think is the top guy.
I would love
like there are people. How about this? For whatever people thought about Rakim and Kane, like publicly, there were a lot of dudes in the street that was like, yeah, but that nigga G can outspit both of them dudes live. Like it's really on its own. Pusha's got like that going on for him. T.I. ain't never had to deal with nobody like that.
Does the battle not matter? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it matters, Mike.
And my thing is, if you don't say anything,
I'm fair. I'm just being fair. I'm being fair to fam. It's like, no. He ain't up against no regular dude. He up against the modern day Cool G Rap. You might want to be careful. You gonna get your ass smoked.
Look, my thing is, man, if you don't even attempt to respond,
especially for the position that he was in, Mike. Like there was probably about a 3-year period, Mike, where he couldn't even afford to take that shoot just because if he would have taken that shot. Like, how about this? Look at what happened to Meek's career to a degree just from the whole Drake thing. And Meek was never in Wayne's position. Imagine Wayne shooting at Push like that and missing at his peak. Oh, Mike, it would have been catastrophic.
Again,
so like it was strategic to a degree.
you can't be the best rapper in the game if you're scared to battle. I'm sorry, if you're scared to battle.
But he was never the best rapper.
But no, he claims these things, and his fans claim these things. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, but his fans are wrong. I mean, everybody that's a fan of somebody thinks that your person is the best rapper in the game. But that's what I'm telling you, Mike. Like that year that he made like Stunting for My Daddy, which I think was like a year after the Carter 2. That like around that time, I thought there was probably about a year period where he was really like the best MC out there for about a year or so. But other than that period of time, I've never felt that way about him. And people act like he had this 5-10 year run that I don't think actually happened. But at that point, too, it's not like he didn't make great shit. Like, there's great shit on the Carter 1, 2, and 3 and, like, all the mixtape stuff. Like, no, there's great shit there, though.
Chris Key says T.I. better than Pusha T. I like that. I'm not mad at that. What up, Chris, man?
No.
Quan Newark says Wayne ain't no battle rap type nigga. I feel you, but at the same time, everybody on that top 10 list has been put in a situation.
Let's back up again.
Drake's not no battle rapping nigga, but he handled his business when it came up.
Getting bodied by a singer.
Yes. When it came to it, he handled his business.
Hey, you want to know why? Because, hey, in like the Canadian rap scene, I haven't experienced it live. I would like to, but they're rooted in the fundamentals of the culture, Mike. And here's what people have to understand. Oh, battle is part of hip hop. It's the expression of the urban angst. It's what's supposed to keep the violence from happening in the streets. Every rapper better be ready to battle because every rapper be out here talking this street shit and need to understand that the expression of battle in hip hop is what's supposed to keep it out the street. So every rapper need to be ready to battle, Mike.
The game washed me. You remember that?
And hold on. You don't get to change the fundamental principles. That's what I keep trying to break down for people. Like, you don't get to change the code, nigga, just because it's your run.
Well, I mean, I know Drake's tried to do that a couple of times, right?
Just because it's your run. It's like when these dudes now be like, oh, well, I don't freestyle. It's like, oh, well, you ain't no rapper.
Chris Key says T.I. makes better songs than Pusha T. I think so. I think,
No. He makes better songs, but you said he was better. You didn't say the songs were
better.
Well,
I mean, if we're talking about overall, I mean, T.I.'s the one that made the songs. He had the ability to make the songs. So, I mean, if we're ranking people based on their catalog.
It's like, okay, it's like, you have to understand, like, Pusha T has the solo material and the classic Clips material. Like it's not really all the way as clear-cut T.I. as you think it is. You forgetting all about all the classic Clips material.
Yeah. Now
the Re-Up Game mixtapes, Lord Willing, Hell Hath No Fury Till the Casket Drops. Yeah. It's not as clear-cut as you think, fam.
I would love to have seen a T.I. and Pusha T battle. I think that would have been really good, man. I
love Tip.
We've seen what T.I. does in the battle, man. I mean, we've
seen what Push does in the battle. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many dudes from his position is going to take on somebody while they're in the prime and everybody is saying they're the best?
Well, Jay-Z did it. Jay-Z did it, and he lost, and, he recovered. I respect that.
Hold on. Jay-Z did what?
Jay-Z took on a battle with the incredible MC that was, 1 and 2 with him at the prime of his career while he was on the top of the game and didn't ignore it. And he went out there and did it. He lost.
No.
And recovered.
No. But that's what I'm saying, though, Mike. He picked that fight when he thought that dude had fell off, though. Like, he didn't pick that fight until he thought dude was done.
Well, I agree with that. But,
that's what I'm saying. Push been picking a fight with Wayne, like, from the jump about it. Like, Mike, you can go to, like, I forget which one it is. It's one of the Re-Up Gang, like, albums that got released. Like, he's literally talking shit about him even on the start of the album. He's like, little nigga flows, but his metaphor's boring. Like, he's been talking about that nigga for a long time.
You're right. And the thing is, man, you can't be like top or whatever. You ducked him then. You ducked him after even Infrared. You let Drake jump in there, get washed, and you still ain't said nothing. I'm sorry. You're not top 10. You can't be. Because you're scared of this rap.
No, everything that you're saying is solid, Mike. I'm just saying that doesn't mean he hasn't made great material and doesn't deserve some sort of consideration. Maybe not top 10 consideration, but like for his era consideration, top 5-ish, yeah.
I think that,
I mean,
with so many great people who've come into this thing we call hip hop and have been able to amass such a great catalog and, everything they do with music, we have to up the stakes on what our qualifications are. And when we start thinking about it, everybody's had to deal with the battle element. Rick Ross has even had to deal with the battle element. 50 Cent said he was going to ruin Rick Ross's career. It didn't happen. Ross survived. Those are things that artists go through that we need to take into account. Wayne's never had to deal with that.
No, Mike, that's one of those things that I always looked at for Ross, how he stood up, because it's like he took 50 shot when 50 was at his peak, and look at the situation.
And beat him with music. Beat him with music.
Oh, Mike, Ross is more of a hip hop legend than 50 is.
Okay, yeah, I'm with that.
You got the catalog to back it.
Yeah.
He got the business to back it. He got like Mike, how many times you see people flicked up with Ross? Like how many times we gonna see somebody in the A flicked up with Ross at Ross house? Like it's like the thing to do. It's become the thing for other rappers to do when they come down here. It's like before I gotta go to Rose's estate, pull up, talk to the boss.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he beat him with music, and that's what this whole thing is about. Like, the whole taking the baby mama shopping and all that stuff, it's funny for, social media, and I think 50 probably was ahead of his time with that because that was before Instagram, and the shit probably would have been all over the place, at that. But Ross stuck to the music, kept making really good music, and even after Deeper Than Rap. What was next? God Forgives and I Don't? Was that next? I think so. I mean, he just kept going.
A lot of stuff. Teflon Don.
Yeah.
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 No, he's made. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it's about. And I think that those things need to be taken in consideration. It's easy for an artist to be on their high horse and not be, I guess in the mix of things and just not have to respond to any trepidation. But my thing is, if you the nicest like that, and if Wayne is so much better than Pusha T, what's the problem? Watch this nigga and keep it moving. Just like when everybody was talking about Eminem ruining people's career or whatever. MGK went out there, killed him on a record. It took Eminem like 2-3 weeks to come with this whack ass. I don't even remember the name of the song.
Hey, so here's my thing too, and maybe I'm old school in this regard, and it was just how I was raised and from all the battles that I've seen. I don't care how long it takes you to come. When you come, you need to come fucking correct. And that's it. Them is really the rules. There ain't no time, date, or stamp on that shit, and I hate when people act like there's certain pressure to it.
Well, I say that because
you come correct. Like, and here's what I mean about when you come correct. It's like, I can remember, like Mike, you remember that gap from when Jay did that Summer Jam shit to Nas, and then it got quiet and he dropped Stillmatic, but then like he dropped like the Blueprint, which was like in September. People forget 11. Stillmatic didn't come out till December.
Right.
So there was a whole 3 months, Mike, where people was like, what's going on? Why Nas ain't said something? But Mike, when he said something though, it was worth it. And it ain't about how long it takes. Make it worth people's time. Too many niggas is looking at the game wrong. This is what I'm saying. Too many dudes are stepping in, and they really don't know the fundamentals and the rules.
Well, to be perfectly honest.
Hold on. If you know the real fundamentals and the rules, you wouldn't feel the pressure, and you would take the time and make the record that made to be made, and you would bury a motherfucker the right way.
Well, to be perfectly honest.
How long did it take LL to respond when Cannabis did second round knockout? Wasn't it like 2-3 weeks?
It might have been longer than that. I think it was longer than that. I mean, those are way different times, though.
Yeah, no, Mike.
And I agree with Quan Newark. You ain't supposed to take 2 weeks with you, MGK.
Like the rules of hitting a motherfucker in a mouth don't change.
Listen.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Cool. I'm with Quan Newark here. You ain't supposed to take 2 weeks for MGK. You're Eminem, right? You ruin everybody's career, right? And my point is, it's not even about how long it took. It was the shit was trash when we did
Mike, there are
hear
too
it.
many.
And
Mike, there are
honestly,
too
to
many.
keep it
No, no, no.
real,
This is what I'm saying.
MGK came with this shit quick.
That's Mike. That's some just real fan shit going on when you say that. And here's what I mean, like some real fan shit. You don't know the variables that are in play in grown ass people's lives that have nothing to do with rap during the course of those 2 weeks. That motherfucker could have been got indicted. He could have caught a DUI. His daughter could have ended up in the hospital about something. He could be going through a divorce. Like the IRS could have audited him. Motherfuckers don't know. Like never misplace yourself and think that other motherfuckers that don't have lives, nothing to do with this rap shit. Mike, you and I talk about how we run around sometimes on Friday and it's a struggle to get here and get everything done and fucking eat just to do this show. How you think these motherfuckers that we actually talking about moving sometimes? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, nah, ain't no time date on smashing a motherfucker on no dope shit. Because if a motherfucker hit me in the mouth and knock me down and people remember, it don't matter how long it takes me to pull myself back up and hit that motherfucker back in the mouth and knock him down. People gonna remember that shit the same way, and that's how this shit works.
I understand, but that did not happen, unfortunately. And
but that's because people keep applying the wrong pressure because they don't understand the rules. You got me shaking this camera, you pissing me off.
We're living in a different time. I mean, people doing everything fast. We're in a content. We're in a content heavy time, and people want things fast. It's just what it is, and unfortunately, man, I think a lot of things this is what I'm gonna say about Eminem. I think a lot of things that were placed on Eminem he didn't ask for. I think that his fans and his massive level of fans created these attributes that they gave him that he might not have really had like that. I mean, that whole notion that Eminem will ruin your career and this and that, it hasn't been proven. Like the people that Eminem was beefing with was like Fred Durst, Britney Spears, Kid Rock, Everlast, and stuff like that. Like, come on, man.
Cupcake
yeah,
shit.
So it's
cupcake
like,
shit.
So for him to be billed as this ultimate battle rapper because somebody went and saw 8 Mile is honestly unfair to him. You know what I'm saying? And we knew this. Well, I knew this shit was gonna happen when MGK came with Rap Devil.
No. You so funny, Mike. You shady. Like, first of all, Eminem has battle rap credentials. And don't act like he doesn't have battle rap credentials. So the 8 Mile thing isn't a far cry. Rabbit run on 8 Mile. Oh yeah, he can do that too. So let's not act like he's not nice. And that's what y'all always do with him. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike. I kind of got Eminem and Lil Wayne kind of like in the same vein. I think they both made one classic album. I think that they've made some great material on the albums that are centered around those albums. In Eminem's case, the Slim Shady LP and the Eminem Show. Mm-hmm. Much like the Carter 1 and the Carter 3, I feel like there's great shit to be found on the Eminem Show and on the Slim Shady LP. And much like with the Carter 2, I think the Marshall Mathers LP is a classic. You disagree with both of those notions, and that's fine. But he has credentials. He is nice. And you want to know what? And this is what I'm saying when I'm saying with the whole Nas thing. Oh, no. If Nas can wait 3 or 4 months to smash a motherfucker and it's okay, it's like, no, it's okay.
It's not about the time that Nas took that makes it okay. It's the fact that Ether was the product. We don't have that on the other
right,
end.
But the pressure being applied isn't allowing these artists to create the product. That's what happened to Meek. Meek needed time.
That's part of the game, man.
You don't know how what makes artists work or make artists move either. Everybody's process is different. Like everybody's not a genius at this shit that you hear this great. Like but you hear some guys who are all-time great, they're not like brilliant or genius at it. Like genius is something that is rare. So when you're hearing an Illmatic or you're listening to something like hear a story about how Jay can just memorize this stuff and recite it or those stuff will big. No, these guys are geniuses. That's rare. That's the best of the best. Some people need time. Eminem might be a motherfucker that needs time. That doesn't mean he's not great.
Well, he didn't come with a great response. I think that Rap Devil pretty much knocked him off the block, to be perfectly honest.
No, Mike. I agree. I'm just
now
saying,
in Drake's in Meek's situation, what do you do when Drake hits you with you talking about the biggest star or one of the biggest stars in the game, period, hit you with a charged up and then hit you with a back to back. You can't sit there and take 2 months. At that point, your show money's going away and everything. At this point, this nigga shit in rotation.
Mike, you can take as long as you need to take, as long as you have some heat for him. You can take as long as you need to take, as long as you got some heat.
How long does it take an MC to make a song, though? That's my thing.
I mean, Mike, I hate to be funny, but I'm just gonna say this shit again. Like, that nigga R. Kelly had a whole sex tape out, Mike, and people forgot about that shit when he made Chocolate Factory. That's how dope Chocolate Factory was. Yeah. Like that shit happened. We all watched it.
Music makes people forget. And I think that's why Rick Ross
contributed to that. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I'm saying. It's like, don't tell me that the music at the end of the day don't matter. That motherfucker was molesting and raping little girls. And about Chocolate Factory, motherfuckers just kind of slid that shit under the rug for another 2-3 years. It's about the fucking music.
Well, I will say this too, though, but you don't think that having records.
I was joking with motherfuckers like, man, he made that album like his life was on the line. It's like his life was on the line. Like, niggas was gonna kill him in the streets. He was gonna go to trial. Like, all that shit. That shit just all disappeared for like 2 or 3 years.
This is the thing, though. I mean, you don't think that you having diss records out there on you makes it tougher for your creative process? It's not like you could block that stuff out. If you got a back-to-back out there on you and they're playing it in the club and you out there just trying to go get a drink or kick it with some girls and that shit comes on and you're out here trying to record an album, you don't think that fucks with your creative process? The longer it takes, the worse it gets.
No, Mike, not if you are who you say you are, Mike, because you also know this as somebody that used to MC and probably still freestyles and rhymes and write stuff from time to time. Oh, if you don't think that you're the best, you've already lost the battle anyway now, haven't you?
Yeah. William said Mike hates Eminem so too much to ever give him any sort of love. You know what? That's not true. Let me go ahead and give Eminem his flowers real quick.
Okay, so Mike, you don't hate Eminem. Tell me your real thoughts about the Marshall Mathers LP. How would you rate it?
I'm not a huge fan. All right, let me tell you.
5 purple tapes, Mike. How many purple tapes? How many Purple Rain, purple tapes, Mike? How many purple tapes?
Well, let me tell you this. When I bought the Marshall Mathers LP,
best project. Tell me what you think.
No, the Eminem Show is his best project, in my opinion. The Eminem Show is his best project, in my opinion. When I first bought the Marshall Mathers LP, I got caught up in the whole hype, and he was all over the TV. He was all over TRL. I think they shut down a whole week for him or something. But we were listening to like all those freestyles on Napster and everything. Anyway, so me and my friends bought the Marshall Mathers LP first day. I listened to it. I was on the freeway. I bought it from Sam Goody and Cumberland Mall back in the day. And I got on the freeway. I was listening to it. I threw it out the window. We used to do that back in the day. I'ma Kill You just didn't appeal to me. I never knew it was corny. The Real Slim Shady was corny.
I want to talk to the fans popping up. I don't even want to hear
the Real Slim Shady was corny. But I do like Amityville a lot. I loved his verse on his verse on Amityville was brilliant. That's where I like Eminem. When he gets into that zone, I personally like the Slim Shady LP better than I like the Marshall Mathers LP, and I think personally that the Eminem Show is his best body of work. I think the songs like I'm a Soldier, I think songs like Till I Collapse, Superman, like this is Eminem at his best, in my opinion. And during that time period, let's keep it real, that's when he did what he did on Renegade. That's when he did what he did on Lose Yourself, which I think is his best song. I think that he was very rounded around the Eminem Show time.
Hey, Lose Yourself is his best song?
I think it is.
I want to get to the people in the chat.
I think it is. And, if we want to talk about...
that if they want to... I want to let people know that if they want to talk about hip-hop, I finally got my business card up for According to Hip-Hop. You all don't have to talk to Mike anymore and listen to this foolish ass shit anymore.
What am I saying wrong?
Pull a business card out because this fool... This nigga right here. What are y'all?
Let me ask you this. What makes the Marshall Mathers LP classic to you? What songs?
Okay, Mike. No. You and me have had this fight before. What's wrong with the album to you? Is there something lyrically wrong with the album? Is there something production-wise wrong with the album?
Yes.
Like, I want to know what's wrong from you. I want to know what's wrong. What's not right that we need to make right to make you understand?
I don't think there's anything you can do to make an album right. It's already made.
And you're telling me that Eminem singing off key on stuff like Cleaning Out My Closet on the Eminem show is more classic than the Marshall Mathers LP?
It's a better album. Yeah.
Well, I want to know what the people are saying.
Kill You, I think, was a misstep on that album. Who Knew, I think, was a misstep on the album. The Real Slim Shady was corny. It is what it is. I'm Back. That stuff it's not classic material. I'm sorry. I'm Back. Drug Ballad. Bitch Please is recycled. I think Kim was psychotic. I really wasn't into that. I remember listening to that in my car, like, what the fuck am I listening to? Under the Influence was corny. Criminal was alright. And so if we're talking about this album, and I'm going to be totally real, and you can give your breakdown, I think the only really songs that I guess you would say is timeless, or that you could say was just him at his best, that do have classic appeal, would be Stan, The Way I Am, Remember Me, the Marshall Mathers, and Amityville. We're talking about 4 or 5 songs here. So what makes this a classic? That's a lot of misses.
First of all, I happen to like Kill You.
Do you?
Yes. Like.
Do you like the beat? Because the beat's not good.
No. I understand what they're trying to do with this project, Mike, and I think that's what like, maybe you listen to it, and, like, Mike, I try to get in people's zone. I try not to get in my zone. I try to get in people's zone. This is him at his best in his zone. This is a white boy who wasn't expecting all these white people to rush in and start becoming hip-hop fans. That wasn't the culture he was brought up in. It's the white boy who really brought white people to hip-hop, like, comfortably, like, dealing with all of it. This is the album about that.
I think he brought them to him, not hip-hop.
Mike, it's like a unique case study. It's some shit we never seen before. It's like, oh, how does the white boy who we used to respect as a lyricist deal with all this fame and all these white people that he's brought into our culture now comfortably? And the dichotomy of it is the Marshall Mathers LP. That's why Mike, it's called the Marshall Mathers LP because the first album is the Slim. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no. It's like, you guys bought the alter ego. Let me show you the guy.
Did he really show you the guy on this though?
Mike, and this is the closest and most honest that he is. Like the Eminem show is very well done, but it's not as honest as this record.
Where are the honest moments on this record to you?
No. He like Mo, Mike. I want people to understand this. Is like, as an MC, this is what I mean about somebody's zone. This is how he feels and how he thinks as an MC. This is his process. This is his zone. Like the Marshall, the first one is about getting on. This is him, good or bad or ugly or whatever. This is more him. These are more his thoughts. And so you're getting the good, bad, and the ugly of his thoughts. We've just never heard it because it's like we've never had to deal with a white boy who like made it this far in rap and rap well enough to get Dr. Dre to do beats and put it together and make it a product. You get what I'm saying? It's different. It's really different.
It's a bit, and you know what?
I tell you what, Mike, and a lot of people younger than us, like, they swear by this album more. Like people from my brother's generation, it's like more like 30-ish and under. Oh, they love the Marshall Mathers LP, Mike. Like, they love
it. What you're talking about sounds more of a moment. It doesn't sound like the music. And I know we talked about this.
Mike, what is Get Rich or Die Trying?
It's the music. Get Rich or Die Trying is more than just a moment. What Up Gangsta is not a moment. That's the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a song.
The
I
way
don't
I
think
am,
that
the way I am is a moment. Stan is a moment.
though,
That's what I'm saying. It's just not
again,
moments
you're
to you.
talking
For a
like
lot of people, those are moments.
I feel you,
For a
but
lot of
you're
people,
talking
those are
like 4
moments. Like, not
records.
even moments for me, Mike. Like, Mike, I'm not the greatest fan of this album. Like I based opinions objectively based on what I hear, what people do, how they execute their job. Like he executed his job. Like, this album is everything that they wanted it to be. It's not everything that you wanted it to be, but it's everything that they wanted it to be.
Who is
And
they?
a lot of people, like the people that put this album together.
Are we
Eminem,
talking
Dr.
about
Dre.
the
Eminem and
fans
Dr.
or
Dre. No, Eminem and
or
Dr. Dre
Eminem's
specifically.
fans? So
yes.
they made this for
This
Eminem's fans.
No, right. This is the album for all his fans.
Okay.
All of them.
So this is more of a
All
pop classic than a hip hop classic.
It's more of a what?
This is a pop classic, not really a hip hop classic.
I mean, Mike, there's not really pop music on here outside of Stan. That's why I'm saying 50's album is more pop than this. Nate Dogg
I think
on 21
anything
Questions,
Eminem makes
how
is
about
pop.
this? Like that shit, like 21 Questions is sweeter than anything that's on this album, Mike. It's sweeter than anything on here. How about that?
It's better than anything on there.
No, it's not. It's not better than The Way I Am, Kill You, Stan. It's not better
than all of those records.
It's
sorry.
not better than Amityville. It's not better than Kim. It's not better than Bitch Please 2. No, it's not.
It is, man. Come on, man.
It's not.
You know what? 50.
Mike, 21 Questions. You know how I feel about that happy ass shit, man.
The only record I would say.
And to be honest with you, not only is 21 Questions some happy ass shit, it's like, yo, did that nigga just clown Ja Rule 2 songs earlier for doing this same shit that he's doing on the same album 2 songs later with his hypocritical ass? That's that shit that I'm talking about.
I think you hate 50.
At least the Marshall Mathers LP, he is who he says he is. That nigga 50 is switching up on his classic album a couple songs later. The nigga sing like the Cookie Monster, and then your ass is up here harmonizing and shit with Nate Dogg. What the fuck?
Yeah, he said he harmonizes, he doesn't sing. He said Ja Rule be trying to hit actual notes. That's what he was saying. But
what are we doing?
I mean, at the end of the day, though, man, I just don't think that those records that are on the Marshall Mathers LP are hip hop.
I don't know how I got it. I don't know how I ended up in a life where I'm defending the Marshall Mathers LP. I'm usually the one talking to my younger brother, talking shit about the Marshall Mathers LP, as opposed to the classics that he's arguing with me about.
Does he still listen to that stuff? Because those songs didn't age well. Does he still listen to that album?
You want to know when I'm about to text this?
Ask him if he still listens. When's the last time he listened to the Marshall Mathers LP?
Me and him was on the phone for like an hour last night, and like I'm about to ask him right now.
Because a lot of that stuff, especially with Eminem, is nostalgia. Because the people who were in that age bracket,
watching this podcast.
The people who were in that age bracket got hit with a barrage of Eminem marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they couldn't escape it. So a lot of them kind of fell for it, and it was like, okay, well, this guy he's dope. But do you still feel that way? Because I know we put a poll up on According to Hip Hop not too long ago. Like, what artists did you listen to? Like that you used to listen to heavy that you find yourself not listening to at all anymore. And Eminem was the number one person on there. Lil Wayne was on there a lot too. Yeah. His music doesn't age well. Eminem does not have timeless material. It's just the truth.
Hold on. No. Hold on.
And people
can
say,
still listen to Marshall Mathers LP? He said yes with a happy face and a teardrop, and he's still typing. He said, listening to Kill You Going Home right now.
I don't know. It's
hold on, no. I'm telling him I'm doing the podcast.
Yes, William Britton says Interscope is a marketing machine. You are correct. They are the best marketing machine in the music business. And they put all hands on deck for Eminem. Now, again, just like Wayne, Eminem had a similar fate. And the fact that once he fell off, he couldn't recover because he wasn't that dope in the first place. Dope MCs can recover. It's just what it is.
Right. Gang signs.
And it is what it is. I think that Eminem is highly overrated. I still think he's number one most overrated MC ever in hip hop. I used to put Wayne at number 2, but
Yo, I think my brother just stop driving and stop talking to me so he can listen to the podcast, because I told him that you was talking shit about the Marshall Mathers LP. This is what I mean about how motherfuckers be serious about the shit. Because I can see where he's read my text, but he's not responding.
Well, come on, man. I want to know what songs people are listening to.
Jumped up on like, oh, well, like
I want to know what songs people are listening to, because
I just told you he said he was driving home listening to Kill You right now.
Oh my God. I just can't. I can't get with the shit. I'm sorry, man.
There's a whole bunch of dudes. There's a whole bunch of dudes like my brother. I've been having this argument with him for like since he was 20 and I was 30. Now I'm 40 and he's 30. Like, yeah, like I've been had this argument.
You know what I will give Eminem? Eminem did I guess pioneer the psycho babble rap where you just say crazy shit on a record and it sticks. You know.
I already thought that was Redman.
No, Eminem was more about I'll jump out the window with my drawers on type thing. But I guess Redman did it to an extent. But it's nothing on that Marshall Mathers LP, as highly regarded as it is for so many hip hop listeners, that actually has legs. If we talking about records in its vein that came out around a similar time, let's use the Blueprint, right? You Don't Know has legs. There's no record on the Marshall Mathers LP that has legs like that. There's no record on the Marshall Mathers LP that has a Heart of the City legs. It just doesn't.
Mike, hold on, Mike.
It doesn't.
When you talk,
ain't no Matrix books out there, man.
Oh, no. That's what I mean. Okay, so not all classics were created equal, Mike.
Oh, let's not do that. So we always qualify his stuff. Whenever it's Eminem, it's like, well, it's different because, it's a different audience. He's talking to different people. We got to understand what the trailer park's like. No. We can't sit here and make different rules. I've heard that too. Okay. We can't sit here and make different rules for this guy. Why are we making different hip-hop rules for this guy? You were just talking about people changing the rules.
I'm not changing any rules. Like what I'm saying is that like, how about this? I don't how about this? I told you this, Mike. It's like I don't value something like, let's say, I don't look at give me a classic like I don't look at Brand Nubian's All for One the way that I look at the Low End Theory.
Okay.
That ain't the same level of classic, even though All for One is a classic. The Low End Theory is a different type of classic.
Yeah, okay.
There are different levels to this shit.
I don't think Eminem's...
Like, no, is that a classic? It's like, yeah. That's why I was telling, even with my brother, it's like when he's like, no, Marshall Mathers LP is a classic. It's like, yeah, I'm like, but I said it's one of those modern day, barely squeak by classics. My shit all-time classic over here, as in Illmatic, Purple Take, Aquemini.
What other albums does he think is a classic?
That to me.
What other albums does he think is a classic from that period? Because that'll tell us a lot, too. Because Eminem fans seem to have a whole different outlook on hip-hop than just regular hip-hop fans, Ramon Hill says you got to respect his numbers. This is how I feel about Eminem's numbers, per se. His numbers are padded in a sense where he had promotional vehicles that weren't allotted to other hip hop artists.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, you want to get in this? Okay.
Yeah, no. He's live. He's on the phone. So okay. Hey, we're doing According to Hip Hop Live right now, and I kind of explain your age bracket because I'm about to be 40 and you're about to be 30, and he wants to. And Mike, the other Mike from According to Hip Hop wants to know because my brother's name is Michael. He wants to know what other classics albums are from that same era that the Marshall Mathers LP came out. Like, what other classic albums do you have? Not from Eminem, but just in period.
Yeah.
Urban Legend. Hold on. Urban Legend. Hold on. What else? The Carter 2. The Blueprint.
Okay.
He likes the Blueprint too. You're wrong about that. That's awesome.
Oh, don't say he wrong. No. I think the Blueprint 2 is dope as well.
You're both wrong. Both mics are wrong. Yeah, I'm talking to you too. What else? You Yeah, you can text me back. That's good enough to go off
Text the
of.
number
You
so
can
we can
get me
keep the
back.
show going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Text the
Oh,
other
he like
ones that he says are
Stillmatic.
classic.
This is my brother. Okay, cool. Stillmatic.
Still mad at
All right, cool.
Chris said,
You
"When
can
can I get on the
get
show?"
me back
Yo,
to me.
Chris, you got Skype? We can get you in the show now. But okay. Ramon Hill says you gotta respect his numbers. I want to talk about Eminem's numbers real fast. Eminem's numbers are
Fuck the
padded.
billboard. I'm
Number
a bullet
one.
on my block is my motto.
Yeah. At the end of the day, man, like listen, Eminem was able to skip certain vehicles that other rappers had to go through. Like during that period, rappers had to go through Rap City. Then, you might get your stuff on MTV Jams. And then if your shit really starts hitting and starts proving itself, it might make it to TRL. Eminem shit skipped over Rap City, skipped over Video Soul, skipped over all of that stuff, and debuted straight up at TRL. They shut down weeks for him of the biggest promotional show at the time with the Backstreet Boys, with NSYNC. He was marketed with these guys. He was marketed with the Backstreet Boy crowd, NSYNC crowd, Christina Aguilera crowd, Britney Spears crowd. That's why he always kept their names in his mouth. And that is why his numbers are what they are. And he was getting played on radio stations that didn't even play hip hop music.
He said Chicken and Beer was phenomenal.
Keep my goodness. See, yes, you're right. He has a different standard of what classic is.
Right. This is what I keep. No. Keep going.
So it's what it is, man.
Yeah, he said that's what he said. He said he ain't listen to a lot of people because he ain't like a lot of people. Em is one of the few guys that caught him.
Eminem would do that.
That's what I'm saying. No, for people who are heads, like my brother's a head like him, like he grew up listening to me play The World Is Yours in my first car. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every morning, he just my God, he's rolling his eyes right now. I can hear him. Like every morning. So he's comes from somebody who's a head. For the heads, Eminem stuck with people. I gotta call you back, bro. We're live.
William Britton says that Jimmy Iovine is the reason that M's numbers are the way they are. Yes, that promotional vehicle that they had for Eminem was amazing. They did an incredible job. They catered to the majority, and they were playing his records once again. Like I said when you were on the phone, Eminem's records were getting played on stations that didn't even play hip hop music. They were playing his stuff on CHR stations that prided themselves on not playing rap music. He wasn't even considered a rapper. So you were being promoted on outlets that other rap artists weren't being promoted on. Period. And you were being promoted on rap outlets. So of course you got numbers. Your numbers were crazy.
Okay, so hold on. Let me also speak to something too. A lot of what you know and a lot of what it is what you have access to. When I'm thinking about all those albums that my brother is listing, those were all albums that were in my CD case when I moved back home briefly. I'm the one that gave him access to those albums. I had Luda's Chicken and Beer. I had the Carter 2. You get what I'm saying? Like he got access to, you kind of go where you got access to. That's how I ended up on Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying? You go where you got access.
Can we say this? Is it unfair to say that just seeing how much of a cliff Eminem fell off of, I mean, not commercially because his fans still support, but just musically, is it safe to say that he was a gimmick for the time being? Like the blonde-haired Eminem with the real Slim Shady stuff and wearing the butt pads and the wigs and stuff? Was he a gimmick?
No, I'm not joking when I say this because this just occurred to me, and I'm going to submit this to you, and you tell me how you feel about it and think about it, Mike. Honestly. When we were doing, was it the midday when we were talking about Sorry Not Sorry last Friday, I said, we're talking about guys that obviously have grown and blown up to the point with things in their endeavors that they're not actively really rapping anymore. And what really just occurred to me is because of that streamline and that fast track that Eminem got put on, which is mostly because he's white.
Yeah.
90% of it is white and 10% of it is skill. What happens to Jay and Nas now, essentially the last 5 years, that actually happened to him 10, 15 years ago. That's what happened is that Mike, his shit stopped being really dope after the Eminem show because literally the Slim Shady LP the Eminem show, and the Marshall Mathers LP all did so fucking well and were ridiculously like well and really dope records. I don't care what anybody says. All those records are dope. At least they're good. At least.
Yeah. No, listen. Eminem's not whack at all. And whenever
They're good.
I'd start
like I
this
said, they're
stuff,
good at least. But Mike, the
yeah.
notoriety that came from that, once he did 8 Mile and did the movie thing and got the movie and the soundtrack money on top of all that ridiculous money, it was kind of a wrap after that, and it showed. And we can see it in Nas and Jay now. It's like, yo, look at where all that big business done got them. It's just it got happened to Eminem sooner because he got fast tracked.
And you know what? This is what.
But also, what happened too is that he's an attachment to our culture and not an integral part of our culture. And so, what Jay and Nas have been able to do is sustain themselves in a multitude of other things that involve people in this culture following them in a way that we don't. Like this is what I'm saying. Like Mike, when I fade my hair, like people be like, "Yo, Coop Wing got the '96 Nas."
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the culture.
That's a whole nother topic, and I could go there. But what I want to say too, and I say this respectfully, I think that so much stuff once Eminem got to where he needed to get to, he was being pumped in with. I mean, they were giving him artists, giving him a radio station, all this stuff. And see, the thing is, it's different when you actually work for something. You're more prepared for it, right? Like everything that Jay was doing, it happened in its time because he worked step to step to step to get it. Where it was like with M, people were throwing him everything at once. And that's a lot to put on anybody, but especially somebody who just came here to rap. Because let's just keep it real. M just came here to rap. He didn't come here to have no clothing line. He didn't come here to have no booming record label. He didn't come here to have no radio station. That wasn't his thing.
Hold on. He did come to put Detroit on. And he'll tell you that. So he did come to put Detroit on.
Well, I have my thoughts about that too, because you've never rhymed over a Dilla track, but okay.
You really going? I'm not doing that right
now. Dilla is
you.
Detroit. You came to put Detroit on, but you don't rock with Detroit artists like that?
He put the Detroit artist on, Mike. You can't say that in the same breath when...
Who, Royce? Mike. Royce, D12... And...
I mean, first of all, like Royce not slight work, Mike. Royce ain't slight work at all.
Royce was gonna make it regardless. Royce
like, how about this? I mean that Royce is better than anybody Nas ever put on.
Royce made hit, but see, this is the thing. When Royce was actually doing his thing at his height, Eminem had kind of let him go, and he went out there and did his own.
Royce hasn't really had a height. He's just been wildly consistent.
Eminem chose, well, I mean, I guess at the time they were beefing, and I understand that, Royce wanted to make it on his own. You remember when Royce was beefing with D12 and all that?
Yeah, he smashed on them on one of those records. I remember that vaguely.
Because the thing is, man, at the end of the day, let's keep it real.
I think wasn't no smoke with Royce either.
At the end of the day, I think Royce is a better MC than Eminem. So, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think Royce also knew that, in the area that they came up in, and when they were trading rhymes back and forth, he knew that he was just as nice as him, if not better. So I don't know if he counts as somebody being put on per se. This is like,
how did he get on?
Huh?
How did he get on? M put him on. He'll tell you that.
He put him on that record. That was a big look.
He put him on. He'll tell you that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's not debatable, Mike.
That's Royce. That's not Detroit. I'll put it that way. I don't think the city of Detroit would tell you the same thing, that Eminem came to put the city of Detroit on the hip-hop map, because Detroit's hip-hop scene is a whole different thing. Black Milk and Elzai, Slum Village, Dilla, and they have no association with Slim Shady.
So listen to what my brother is saying. He says, if Mike don't like the Marshall Mathers LP, I'm convinced he only listened to one type of music at the time. Laugh emojis. That album single-handedly changed the game and how people rapped and put a bigger emphasis on similes and metaphors. It was a passion of your era to mine, honestly, in the way that lyricism changed in what came after. He says it's a changing of the guard album. He said the lyricism's changing right here, and that's one of the albums that's an indicator of it.
What album do I see this change happening that came after it? That's the part I don't understand. And see, when people want to talk that stuff, it's like, yo, what
Hey,
did Eminem really change? No, let's keep it real. What did Eminem really change?
Hold on. So here's what I will tell you, Mike. How many of your favorite MCs are really punchline heavy? Because my favorite MCs aren't punchline heavy.
Mine aren't either, really. I mean,
it's different now. Almost these guys. That's what I'm saying. My brother's era. Third time hitting the mic. It's been a very passionate show. Mike damn near gone. I'm just gonna hold the mic till the show is over. I done fucked up all the bands and I done fucked the mic up.
No, you still sound good, man.
No, all jokes aside, but he might make.
When did it become punchline heavy? Because I feel like Cassidy and guys like that made it like that.
No, Mike. You want to know what I immediately thought about, Mike? I immediately thought about it's like Jadakiss is the first rapper that I heard where it's like his punchlines were the thing that drew me, like almost like it was a focus, and maybe that's part of the change that my brother's talking about is like those guys are more punchline MCs than MCs. Like Biggie's not a punchline MC. Pac, Nas, Jay, they're not really punchline MCs. They're clever. They'll say some shit. Jay's probably the most punchliney of the bunch. You know what I'm saying?
What punchlines are we talking about? What Eminem punchlines are we talking about? I'm missing this. I'm sorry. Dial it back for me, for the people in the slow class, man. Like, what Eminem punchlines are we talking about? Y'all talking like he fabulous or something.
Hold on, Mike. Do you think that Fabulous is better than Eminem?
Yes.
Good night, people. Like,
why isn't Fabulous better than Eminem?
Name one thing. Name one.
He's a better MC.
Thing he does better.
He's a better MC. He makes songs better. He makes better songs.
Name the songs.
Killing them.
Breathe is the best song of his career, and that's not. And Eminem has like at least 5 songs better than Breathe.
Eminem got a better song than Breathe? Humor me.
Yes. The Way I Am is better than Breathe, and Stan is better than Breathe.
No, it's not.
Put a post up, Mike.
It's not.
Put a post up on our black ass hip hop website and watch. Mike, pick Stan or The Way I Am and watch it crush Breathe.
You know, people love Eminem.
You want to smoke? Yeah, if I say you don't.
I would love to.
Mike.
I'll put it up there. I don't have no problem.
Mike, I mean, hold on, Mike. All jokes aside, it's
people just said Fabulous was a better MC than T.I., so I guess it's possible, you know.
People said what?
People said Fabulous is a better rapper than T.I.
What? Since I'm holding the mic, what are we doing?
I'm telling you, I think you're underrating Fabulous. I think that's what this is. I think you're underrating Fab and you're overrating M.
Hold on. How about this? I want you to name Fabulous's 3 best songs right now.
Off the top of my head, I mean, I'm going Breathe. Yep.
Right.
He got so many joints, man. I mean.
No, we don't. We don't.
Fabulous got a whole bunch of joints. It's hard to even say what's Fab's best joint because he got so much. I mean, because the Soul Tapes, Volume 1. Chris Key says Fabulous is better than Eminem as well.
Mike, I'm trying to let you know that I already got you because I'm going to tell you something about Fab. And I'm not saying this in the right way, in the wrong way, because I like Fab, and Fab is dope. When I ask you to name somebody's dopest songs, and you only name one record, and then you have to stop and start thinking that person is not as great as you think that they are.
What made me think? No, let me let you know why I was saying that.
When you're talking about, because Mike, even when if you were to even hand me Jadakiss, Mike, if you were to hand me Kiss right now and be like, what's Kiss 3 best records? It'd be like, hold on, nigga. I can't tell you that right now. That nigga Kiss got records. You like Breathe, hold on. That's because he don't got it like that.
Nah, I can't. Like that's what I said. It's going to take me a minute because I'm thinking of like the big Fab records and the street shit. Like, Fab got a lot of stuff. Fab got the mixtape Fab.
Mike, Mike, I tell you what, breathe, keeping it gangsta, you make me better.
I knew you were gonna say keeping it gangster for some reason. I don't even think so. I don't even think so. I mean, I like the song. It's dope. But Fab got a lot of stuff. And I think you sleeping on Fab's catalog. Actually, Fab's catalog is much better than Eminem's. And if we talking bar for bar, all right, let's go back to the subject.
Hold on, Mike.
When did Eminem become so punchline heavy to the point where he influenced the whole generation on punchlines? What songs are we talking about?
Mike, no. You want to know what? Damn all that.
I just want to know.
I don't know nobody who knows rap, who got some money, some real money, where if Eminem was standing on one side in a battle and Fab was standing on the other side, that they gonna go over there and put money on Fab. And I'm gonna say that live right now. Y'all fucking tripping.
Here we go. The falsified Eminem battle raps.
No, Mike. I'm gonna say this again. Mike, when they doing the cipher, and M is sitting up there, and who he's sitting next to ciphering with? He's ciphering with Black Thought and Most Def. Oh, that's not an accident. That's what I keep trying to tell y'all that think M ain't got it like that. Oh, you'll never find Fab sitting next to Most Def and Black Thought.
That's television programming, and that shouldn't even happen. I mean, the bars said it himself. He was like, Dalai Lama, Banagana, Handy Mama, Bana Bana.
Mike, you'll never. No.
Come on.
No. How did I end up defending these guys that I don't even listen to that much? Mike, you'll never see that shit happen because Fab ain't the type of MC that can walk in a room with Most Def and Black Thought sitting there and feel comfortable and stand next to them. Eminem can, and that's the difference.
I disagree with
that. For all of you who don't know, and if so, why ain't he done it? That's why I keep telling y'all about that Method Man freestyle. Oh no, understand, Meth is one of the few guys that even has the capability to walk in the room. Like, how about this? Fab can't walk in that room. That's why I'm saying, like, M done stood next to Thought. Fab can't walk in that room and stand next to Thought. Eminem can.
So Eminem's better than Method Man, too?
All of y'all thinking otherwise are big fucking tripping.
I don't understand why people think that Eminem is so skilled. Again, give me the bars.
Put that nigga Fab in a room with Thought, and y'all gonna be looking at Method Man like he the second greatest MC of all time.
All right, because this is the thing, man. It's like
Eminem. No. Eminem is spit next to Thought multitudes of times, and nobody has said a word about him being murdered because he didn't get murdered because his skill set is like that. How about that?
He got murdered though. No one says anything about Eminem. Like, it's like, again,
Mike, because he don't be getting killed the way you think he getting killed. You just don't like Eminem, like Fam said.
I think as long as Mike, you got
an Eminem Andre grudge.
As long as Eminem throws a bunch of words together that don't even have to mean anything, people are pleased. Like, people will tell you that his verse on Forever is epic and can't even tell you what he said. It's like my homeboy said about Barack Obama. Like, people talk about how great of a speaker he is, but nobody could quote any of his stuff. It just sounds good.
Mike, quote something that Bill Clinton said. Quote something that Ronald Reagan said right now. They were great public speakers, too. Like, that's what I'm saying. I hate how people try to contrive the situation and make it convenient. Let's go look at the great other public speakers. Name a Franklin Delano Roosevelt quote off the top of your head right now. Get what I'm saying? It's like people say that shit, and it's like they really don't know what they're talking about, though, Mike.
But back to him.
I mean, I hate to say it like that. No. People be talking. They really don't know what they're talking about. It's like, oh, he just said a bunch of stuff. It's like, well, he's a politician. Ain't that kind of what they all do? That's why I brought up Reagan and Clinton. Name a Reagan quote. Name a Reagan quote about the crack era. Name a Clinton quote about 3 strikes. Can't nobody name one because they're politicians. It's like, don't get bad at Obama because he played a game. Like, we got to get over that shit, too.
Well, I'm sorry. I mean to set off anybody speaking Obama's holy name. I apologize.
No. All I'm saying is, hold on. All I'm saying is when a black man wants to sit up there and say, oh, well, Obama, it's like, we'll say a Clinton and a Reagan quote since we talking about Obama. Because we talking
Obama's a much better speaker than both of them.
We talking about politicians.
We're talking about speakers.
Let's talk about the politicians that preceded him. Let's talk about Jimmy Carter, Democratic.
No, we're talking about great speakers, honestly. And I'm not saying
Bill
that because
Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan. For a lot of people in the last 50 years, the greatest 3 public speakers that have come out of America have been Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. That's why I'm making the comparison.
I don't even know if Bill. I
presidency.
mean, Clinton was more slick than just a great speaker per se. He knew what to say in the moment and in the situation.
Mike, as far as public speaking in the American forum in the last 100 years, nobody has ever known his audience the way Bill Clinton has. That's what makes him a great public speaker. You don't have to enunciate or use proper verbiage when you know the people, know how to connect with the people, and the people follow you. That's how Hitler got into power.
We're getting off
Hitler
course.
wasn't a great speaker either. Hitler wasn't a great speaker either. And somehow, that all happened.
Yeah, right? You're right. You're right. But what I want to know is your brother said that the Marshall Mathers LP changed the game and how people rap. First, I want to know, where was Eminem punchline heavy? Because I never viewed him as a punchline MC. And after that, I want to know, what albums can we sit there and look at and be like, yeah, that was influenced by the Marshall Mathers LP?
I mean, that's what I'm saying, Mike. It's generation to generation with stuff. It's like you made a comment. It's like, I don't know if you even said it live. I don't think you said it live. I think it was before, where you were like, for a lot of people, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is their Illmatic. Like, it's the best shit that they ever heard if you're a certain age.
Right.
And so even though for us on a scale that have heard My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and then we hear Illmatic, and it's like, oh, no. That's a number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 album versus a number 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 album. Like we've heard it. And so like what I'm saying is that we have to respect the scale and the measure. My brother is 10 years younger than me. You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
And so although he grew up on Illmatic, because he's my brother, Illmatic didn't hit him the same way. And you got to give people time to circle around on stuff, because some of the stuff that circled around on me, I've had to give it time to look back at it and be like, you want to know what? That's greater than I thought it was. It's like there are certain albums that I look at, Mike. It's like when I remember listening to The Diary when I was younger, when my cousin bought it. And it's like, no, I knew it was some of the best gangster rap shit that I ever heard. I didn't realize how important it was. I didn't realize how timeless it was. I didn't realize how much over a course of time that I ended up playing it. I didn't realize when I moved to California that there was niggas in Cali that had been like literally like raised on NWA and all that, like West Coast gangster shit. And when I played The Diary for them, they literally related and then thereby related to me. It's like, yo, he's talking the way like easy talk in the way I'm like, yeah.
But see, you're talking legs and you're explaining this. I still don't see, because all right, let's play that game too, and let's talk about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Because if you talk about the impact of that record, the impact of that record is clear.
Mike, I had to stop buying The Diary when I moved out to Cali because my Cali niggas kept stealing The Diary from me.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and what it means to a certain generation. Nicki had her breakout verse on there, right? Rick Ross had a very important verse on there as well. Pusha T. That kind of opened that whole next phase of Pusha T's career. Right.
He had the lyrical verse and he had the fucking single verse. Exactly. Big moment for him.
Exactly. And then
a lot of big moments.
Kid Cudi.
Raekwon.
Kid Cudi. Yes. Yeah. And so and hip hop taking, and I think hip hop taking that theatrical, jump where all of this stuff, because he did that whole that video, right? With that artsy step. Because I always felt like Watch the Throne.
The cover?
Huh? Yeah.
The cover?
Yeah.
That was his first time pushing the limit. He was pushing the limit for the first time. He's like, how far are they going to let me take it? Mm-hmm. They already think I'm crazy. How far are they going to let me take it?
And I think Watch the Throne was definitely My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Part 2. You didn't see Jay-Z get all artsy until that. No, I'm just saying, like, sonically, dealing with art, dealing with, even with the album cover, obviously it's not the record that it is, but you know what I mean. You can feel the impact.
For Jay. Huh? That was a big mistake. That how about this? That whole Watch the Throne move, that's where Jay lost dudes like me, or started kind of like we started kind of fading. It's like, no, Like I can't have you rapping next to Ye, like on Ye's beats, Ye sounding better than you and shit. Like nah, like niggas ain't with that.
But
We ain't
regardless.
with you sounding like that.
But regardless, I'm talking
So
about
so
impact.
no. So you tell that nigga Ye to rap over you don't know.
Cool.
That's what you do.
Cool. I'm talking about the impact of the record and why those classic records, you feel the impact after they're gone. I can't say that for the Marshall Mathers stuff. Like, what albums after that are we saying, yo, the Marshall Mathers LP opened the door for that?
You comparing the Marshall Mathers LP to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? Are we doing that? Because Mike, even in the process of even in the process of us talking about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it's like, hold on. I was like, you want to know what? I'm like, that's more like a top 20 to 25 rap album. I was like, not 26, 27, 28, 29. I'm like, that's a really, really awesome record. It's really special.
Okay.
The Marshall Mathers LP. This is what I'm saying. Okay, Mike. So
what are you saying about the Marshall Mathers LP? Is it not in the same league?
I'm talking about where hip hop is. No. Let's talk about where hip hop is, Mike. Hip hop is somewhere special. And this is what I tell people. You know how people feel about like John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, the songwriters?
Right.
I feel like our degree of difficulty in hip hop is higher. The expression in the 16 bars because of how we have to craft it is higher. And we're getting to a point, and what I'm trying to say is that, like our 98th best rap album is better than the 98th best rock pop album. And so the Marshall Mathers LP, if I'm making a top 100 list, it's probably somewhere in the 70 to 90 range. But the catalog and the depth of hip hop in this short span of time has been one of the most exponential growths of quality music in the history of music itself. And people need to start recognizing it. It's not a fad anymore. Like, we part of this culture. We're here to stay. Marshall Mathers LP is part of that culture. And although it is what I would like to call a backdoor classic, still classic because there are people from a whole generation like my brother. Like, my brother's not the only one. They swear by it. According to hip hop is according to who, Mike? It's according to the people. We got to keep account for the people in every generation. The people from the generation say that Marshall Mathers LP is a classic, Mike. Even if I don't say so, Mike, when it first came out, I didn't think it was a classic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 in my opinion and in my mind. I kept it pushing. I really like Stan. I love the way I am. Bitch Please 2 and Amityville are super fucking dope to me. It took the people, Mike, to convince me from my brother's era, because he's not the only one that I talk to, Mike, because, I talk to everybody, to get me to explain, like, nah, Coop, like, that's a classic to us. That belong in the catalog. And it's like, I'm not going to be the old ass nigga out here saying, get off my lawn.
No,
it's not Illmatic or Aquemini or the Purple Tape. And so that era done told me it's a classic enough. I respect enough of the tracks on there. I respect them enough as an MC. I'm looking at it. It's like, if I'm making my top 100 list, it's probably getting placed at like 89. But hip hop has made so many great albums, Mike, that I can put Marshall Mathers LP at about 78 to 89 and still call it a classic. We got it like that. That's why LL really started Rock the Bells, because LL really probably seen the depth of the greatness of our culture and realized, motherfuckers don't realize we got the Rolling Stones and the Beatles and U2 and Coldplay and Springsteen and Janis Joplin. We got them all right here. And we gonna talk about that shit.
I agree. But again,
right. Including the white boy, Mike.
I don't feel like this is.
The white boy gonna get his run in this shit too.
I don't feel like this is
we giving the white boy his run.
I don't feel like this is a. I'm not gonna give any. No. I'm not gonna give anybody a special, catapult because of how they look.
Shit ain't hard, Mike.
The music has to speak for itself.
Can't out-rap this guy. Most dudes, Mike, who you think that have made classic material, they can't out-rap this guy, Mike.
Who can't out-rap him? Now listen, we're jumping around. And we seem to jump around when it comes to Eminem.
Mike, we were talking about All For One. If you send Grand Poobah and Sadat X up against Eminem, they're walking out expeditiously, Mike.
Listen, this is what I'd rather listen to Grand Poobah, Rob. this is what I was gonna say. I don't think this is a get off my lawn conversation because this album came out. No, this album
is it a get off my culture conversation?
No. This album came out in 2000. We talk about the Blueprint, which was 2001. Actually, this album came out before Supreme Clientele. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about that like nothing. We talk about B. We talk about the College Dropout. This album is older than all of those. So I don't think this is a generational thing anyway. What I do think also, what speaks even more volumes, is many albums as this record sold. If it was that classic like that, we would still be hearing a lot of these records. That's what makes me feel like it was a pop gimmick. And it is what it is.
Mike. How do you know these records still don't get played? Because I'm going to tell you what, it's like I don't listen to radio anymore, but I'm going to tell you what, like the few times that I have in the last 5-6 years, Stan still be popping up.
Have you ever gone anywhere? Have you ever gone anywhere that plays hip hop music?
What I'm saying is that as somebody that barely listens to radio, I still hear Stan in the last 5-6 years. So don't tell me that.
Bro.
No, Mike. Listen. Mike, there's not too many rap records. It don't matter who made it in 2000. You don't hear too many rap records from 2000 that still circulate on radio. Period.
I'm not even talking radio. I'm talking about when you turn on the TV, you go to a movie, you're gonna hear. You said flashing lights. You know what I'm saying? Flashing lights is in films, in commercials, all this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mike.
These are classic records.
Flashing Lights is epic, Mike, and you're not gonna sit up. This is
Eminem ain't got stuff like that. It's just what it is, and it's no knock to him. It's just the truth.
Like you comparing what I think is one of Kanye's like 2 or 3 best records to Eminem. It's like that's one of Kanye's 2 or 3 best records. It's like that's Flashing Lights, nigga. Like of course, it's supposed to get scored in movies.
If he's one of the best, he is the most fiscally successful. No. That's what everybody else says.
Classic in a back-end classic. How do we end up arguing?
That's what everyone else says. If he's such top 10 and he's this and that, and this is a classic.
Say he was top 10.
Okay, all right. I'm pretty sure your brother feels like he is. All right.
My brother probably thinks he's top 10.
Okay. Well, let me dial this back. If this album is such a classic, and it is one of the highest selling albums ever in hip hop.
It is that.
Exactly. So why aren't we hearing this shit? That's all I'm saying. It didn't age well. No. It's what it is, man. Those songs aren't that good. Those songs aren't College Dropout level.
So when you're saying we're not hearing it, first of all, people from our age demographic aren't hearing it because it kind of missed us anyway. And on top of that, what I'm trying to say is, Mike, this album, I'm going to say this again. This album is for all his fans. Did you not hear me when I said that shit?
All his fans. His fans aren't necessarily hip-hop fans. They're Eminem fans.
Now you're getting where I'm going, but hip-hop is bigger than even hip-hop right now, and the Marshall Mathers LP is part of that growth and development. The Marshall Mathers LP...
Yes, I give the Beastie Boys that. The Beastie Boys opened it up, but...
Mike, real talk, License to Ill is better than the Marshall Mathers LP. Not as important as the Marshall Mathers LP. And what I'm trying to express to you is that the Marshall...
so important?
Because it literally bought people who didn't fuck with us and didn't spend money on us into this culture.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, if we're talking financially, yes. If we were talking about, hold on, Mike, if we gonna get on our Black Wall Street shit, Mike, and talk this shit, it's like if we're talking about getting white people to spend money in a black arena, is that productive for black people in America? Like, I'm just gonna ask that. I think we know the answer. Is it productive
to get white
people to spend?
Let me answer. Because this is different, and this is in a vacuum. Because
that's what the Marshall Mathers LP
is. No.
It's white people spending money in a black entity.
This is what I've experienced, and according to hip hop.
You got to put a lot of black people on, Mike. D12, Royce, got Dr. Dre a lot of checks. A lot of
He
black
got
people
Dr.
got paid
Dre a
off
lot
the
of
Mathers
checks.
LP.
He put, I think the best thing that Eminem's done in his...
Mike, get rich or
Can
die
I
trying
finish?
doesn't happen without the Marshall Mathers LP.
I agree. Well, I think 50 would have made it anyway, but not to that magnitude.
No,
Now, I will give you this.
no,
I
Mike,
think the best thing that
50
Eminem...
would have made it. Get rich or die trying doesn't happen.
Again.
That's an East Coast moment.
Let me finish. I think the best thing Eminem's done in his career was to put 50 Cent on. And the way that he did it and all that, right? But what I have noticed...
Mike, the Marshall Mathers LP is the facilitation and the cosign.
I understand that. I understand that. Hold on. But what I'm saying is, a lot of Eminem's fans aren't really hip-hop fans. They're just Eminem fans. And when Eminem comes with something, they fuck with it, or anybody who's affiliated with him, but they can't tell you a lot about hip-hop. And the ones that you're saying Eminem brought into hip-hop like that, some of them, yes, got their eyes open to a whole new game, but a lot of Eminem fans and the way that they promoted him. No. Listen to what I'm saying.
I want you to finish. Yeah, I want you to finish.
A lot of the way that they promoted this guy to certain audiences, those people were just Eminem fans and not hip hop fans. Because again, we're talking about somebody who got played on radio stations that didn't even play hip hop. And again, it wasn't like he was a constant collaborator with anyone in hip hop outside of his crew once he got to a certain level. So how would they become hip hop fans? You know what I'm saying? You're talking like he was out here rocking with, Slum Village and, putting that stuff on the album. How was he introducing hip hop as a whole to his audience? Eminem was just Eminem. The only people that were on his album were his crew.
I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. Eminem's part of this cipher in this circle of hip hop. He's part of According to Hip Hop, Mike.
Of course. That's what we're talking about.
No. I'll let you speak on it. And I want people to hear this because we all need to hear this. First of all, I've always respected Eminem because Eminem is somebody that's always addressed his cultural appropriation. Like he said, no. I'm tapped into black music. It's making me rich. I know it's making me rich. I'm not blind to the fact that it's making me rich. I'm not denying the fact that it's making me rich. I'm actually putting people on for my community because of it, because they happen to be black, because even though I'm white, I come from, even though the other side of the tracks, as it's been explained to me, been around the community more so than the average white person, as it's been explained to me. You know what I'm saying? And some of the same people that I know from the Detroit that have explained this to me. Mm-hmm. And so he's never repped Detroit the wrong way, which is considered to be a black town and a black city. Okay? Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard about Eminem ever having any issues in Detroit with the black community? That's because he hasn't. Because hold on, Mike. That's because he hasn't. Because he's supported and done right by the black community for the most part. Because he understands that it's his duty to, as somebody who's white and infiltrated the hip hop culture and all the amenities that has afforded him. He has done what he could to help everybody as a white person. It's not too often that you see white people make money off of black people and do that. So we need to start respecting the fact that he did that.
Well, this is the thing. And I don't expect anything outside of that.
No, I'm not finished because there's so many things to unpack that come with it. On top of
Let me take notes.
Mike, if we just talking, he can out-rap most of the guys that you talk about that you think are great. He just can. Like most of the guys, as in he's in the 90th percentile. He belongs there. I need black people to start acting like he belongs there because you're like, oh, it's a technical thing. Hold on. You're like, it's a technical thing. It's like, yeah, but technically, a lot of guys from our era don't listen to guys, and what do they say? He's not skilled. He don't really rap. He doing something else. He mumbling.
Well, what makes somebody a great rapper? So you think he can out-rap Scarface? I'm just asking.
Oh, no. Do I think he's a better MC than Scarface top to bottom? No. Can he probably out-rap Scarface in a battle? Yes.
What does that even mean?
And that's what I'm saying. No, it means something, Mike, because once upon a time, Mike, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, that's part of the bag of tricks. That's what I'm saying. He's supreme. No, he's supremely gifted in a couple of the elements of hip hop that great MCs need to be invested in. He's not no sucker. Like, you can't just go walk up to Eminem and fade him on a battle, can you? You gotta send somebody. I mean,
Rhyme Fest did. Rhyme Fest beat him in the Rap Olympics.
Mike. No, first of all, those of us that have heard it, Mike, for those of us that have heard it, most of us that have heard it don't agree with that. And he beat Cannabis before he got the Rhyme Fest. So let's stop making it seem. This is what I mean about how the story get convenient, Mike. See how you conveniently left out the fact that he faded Cannabis in the semifinals? Right. So
you're not too big on Cannabis either.
Mike, when you talk about how Rhyme Fest faded him in the final, but you fail to mention that he faded Cannabis in the semifinals, you're part of the problem I'm talking about, fam. Because you're not giving him his due. No. You're not giving him his due, Mike. Maybe he lost the Rhyme Fest because of the draw. He caught Cannabis in the semifinals. Who you more concerned with, Mike? You used to spit, Mike. You walking into the Rap Olympics, you got Cannabis in the semifinals with the possibility of Rhyme Fest in the finals. Who you spitting your illest shit to, Mike?
Well, definitely Cannabis.
Right. So stop playing that shit.
But you still got to save something for the final.
Mike, you just tried to play me like I didn't know my history because I know he beat Cannabis in the semifinals.
But I'm just saying, man, this whole thing about
play me, Mike. No, Mike, you tried to play me like, oh, he lost to Rhyme Fest in the finals, Mike. That's because he faded all his clip out beating Cannabis in the semifinals. Why you ain't bring that up? Stop shitting on the white boy. You're wrong for that, Mike. You just tried to play me in front of our audience. Yeah. You think I don't know my history? No, Mike, I still got the audio footage of the shit Eminem said to Cannabis. Wouldn't nobody... Mike, Rakim would have lost to Eminem that day. Rakim would have lost to Eminem that day. Yeah.
You know what,
man?
It was
like that.
You know what I will give Eminem credit on is the fact that, man, his transition from being a battle rapper to making records, I think he's done that to a level that no one else in that ilk had done. At least, you know, the battles from what we know them as, you know, from those stages.
Mike, what is wrong with putting this guy? What is wrong with putting him in the top 50 rappers of all time?
Oh,
what's wrong with saying? What's saying that the Marshall Mathers LP is one of the greatest 100 rap albums ever? That's what I'm saying. People don't understand how deep rap is, Mike. Remember when I was telling you I was doing the list about the greatest rap albums of all time, and I was doing like the 50 clip, right?
Yeah.
No, Mike, I can't do 50. That's part of the problem. That's when I realized it's like, hold on. I'm like, no. I'm like, we might have over 100 classic albums in hip hop at this point. It's like that. We're like that.
Man, we are 2 hours in, man. That's crazy. I think this might be the longest.
Yeah, we gotta go. Yeah. And the Marshall Mathers LP might be on the back end of that 100, but still part of that 100. It's like when I be listening, like Mike, I be listening to some of the shit they call classic like this in rock and in pop, and it's like the Marshall Mathers LP is better than a lot
But you know what? And you know, now that you mentioned that though, for real though, it's like it's one of those things where I feel like some of the classics that are in a lot of publications and rock music, and it's about being there, and it's a timely thing, and all stars really align. And when the Marshall Mathers LP, that was actually a moment. I think on paper, I think that the Eminem Show is a better album, but it wasn't the moment for him like the Marshall Mathers LP was. That was his moment. That was when MTV and everything had just, collided.
So,
you know what I mean?
I think the Blueprint is so much better produced than Reasonable Doubt.
That's funny. I had that conversation in the barbershop today. Yeah.
Really?
I did.
It is, Mike. Like the production on Reasonable Doubt is like a 4. The production on the Blueprint's like a 12. But Mike, if you ask me what the better album is, Mike, I'm still gonna tell you Reasonable Doubt. Because like Jay made you feel some shit with that. Mike, I told you, I keep telling everybody, I thought he was going to prison. It's like, yo, we need him to do as much material as possible. This nigga's going to prison. like he's going to prison for what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like ain't nobody ever talk like that. This one ain't no stopping the champagne from popping, the draws from dropping, the law from watching. I hate him.
He went all in, man. And you know what,
He went
man?
all in. It was like I was like, oh,
But see, I
I keep
think
one
that
eye
that's
open like
the
CBS. You see me stressed, right?
that's the
I'm like,
allure of
okay.
people's first breakout album. And I say first breakout because if we're talking Eminem, obviously he had Infinite before, but he noticed the moment on the Slim Shady LP. And for me
Hey, hey,
personally,
hey.
the Slim Shady LP holds a special place in my heart when we talk about his catalog. I liked where he was at there. You could tell that he took in the moment.
A lot of
And
heads feel that way. A
and
lot of heads feel that way.
and I've told you before, Michael Jackson's my favorite artist, and I think I've told you before. I hate when Michael start making records about being famous and everything that came with it, And so I feel like the Marshall Mathers LP is that record for Eminem, where it was like everything was about being famous now, and
Oh no, no, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It was like, it's like, oh no, how does the white boy deal with fame in this black rap sphere and culture? Like that's what I mean
I've
when I'm
never
saying
been a
it's as
fan of those
fascinating.
kind of
No, no, no,
records.
no,
So yeah.
no, no, no. That's what I mean when I'm saying it's as fascinating as a rap album that you're gonna find that's great, because it's like, oh, how is the white boy being under the microscope about being a big star in this black culture and having built, like, he was dealing with a lot of things, like, Mike, it was affecting a lot of people. I remember Jada Kiss been had a bar where he was like, I've been had a fan base before the signing of Marshall. It was affecting dudes how that album moved.
Yeah.
It affected things. It affected things
He
within the
was
industry.
getting
So even though it may not have shifted the industry or culture in the game in terms of hip hop, oh, it was making dudes move and sit back and think. And if you look at that happy ass time with all those singles, he had a lot to do with that, because like what Jay say, only dudes moving units, Pimp Juice, and us.
I think Pimp Juice had a lot more to do with those happy records at the time. I really feel like in 2000, when Nelly and Ludacris came, the way they changed hip hop radio for the next couple of years. Not to mention what Ja Rule was coming with too.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of that had to do with
No, that was a
Marshall.
happy ass time.
I
That was
think
a happy ass
I
time.
think people understood why Marshall was moving
Happy ass
units.
time.
You know what I'm saying? I think people understood why Marshall was moving units, and he was doing things and reaching people that they just couldn't. But what Eminem did do was, like you were saying, it showed rappers how big that a rapper could possibly get.
No, that's
That
what I
could
mean. Okay,
possibly get there.
So Mike, this is what I'm saying. So you're like, oh, did it change the game? It's like, well, kinda. Look at how dudes started crafting singles afterwards. Look at Ja Rule. Look at Ludacris. Like, look at that. They were into making big records because they were like, hold on, this dude just went diamond, 10 million, rapping.
I thought Nelly did that before him.
No, Nelly did like 6.
Nelly did 10 with Country Grammar. Yeah, he did 10 with Country Grammar. Yeah.
Not originally, Mike. No, Mike. I remember.
You
no,
mean
he
overtime?
Yeah, it's overtime. That was that back end. The original Country Grammar did like 4 mil over a course of time, 6 mil, and then eventually Diamond. The original Country Grammar was like 4 or 5 mil.
Man, we need to do a whole nother show, man.
I met Nelly. He showed up late to the record store and stuff and was like making excuses and shit, but it was all good. I thought EI was popping.
Hey, yo, Nelly had a big ass record. William J. Britton says, "Thank you for the entertainment tonight, yo."
Yeah, he had a big ass attitude that day.
Superstars,
yeah, I'm gonna start airing niggas out too. Like, by the way, Mike, like, I got all these stories. It's like I realize it's like I'm about to be 40 in October. It's like I've been holding all these stories like from my 20s and my 30s. It's like I'm airing niggas out. Like every nigga that said some shit, did some shit, like all the run-ins, like all the shit. Like, Mike, I done squabbled with niggas before. Like they had words with niggas. Like that Kobe shit that I said last week is real, nigga.
And on that note,
like, rest in peace, that Kobe shit is real.
Right. Well, on that note, we need to go ahead and get up out of here. But yeah, next week.
Wait till I tell the Michael Jordan stories, Mike. Wait till I tell the
Michael Jordan stories are probably the greatest.
Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason.
All right. Well, next week we got J. Cole's album, The Off Season, and it's been highly anticipated. And again, the mainstream's opened back up. Can't wait to talk about it with you. Sounds like, so far what we're hearing, it's looking good. Till next week.